Okay, my people, this is part 2 of a young boy's initiation into porn. I don't know what the name is. Sexual initiation, initiation into porn, being manipulated. I don't know what to call it, but anyway, yeah. So I was saying that I wonder what his father would tell him. If his father, what can a father tell a son? No, no, son, you're not supposed to be interested in looking at naked women. Or no, no, son, you're too young. That's what mom said. You're too young to be watching that. You know, when you say stuff like that to children or to anyone, when you tell them, no, no, you can't do that, you know what they're going to do, right? They're going to go straight to it and they're going to want to do it. That just piques their curiosity. So how does a parent deal with this, you know? I don't know what. It wasn't so bad with my son, and you know, who knows, you know? Oh, goodness. But yeah, what I was saying is there's a whole lot of very intelligent young brown and black kids in this complex. There's one beautiful little girl who's 6 years old. Runs circles around her mom. Highly intelligent. Very inquisitive, very curious, very always moving around. She often goes beyond the bounds that her mom wants her to in this complex. Yesterday, was it yeah, it was yesterday. There's a whole lot going on yesterday. Her mom came out the door and said, so and so, where were you? Where were you at? And the little girl turned the whole conversation. Mom, I was looking for you. Where were you, Mom? With all attitude. I'm like, listen to this little girl. She can't be no more than 6 or 7 years old. She twists the conversation on her mom. Oh, come on now, little boo-boo. You know that your mom was in the house all this time. But she turned that conversation so well. It's like, we don't understand the depth of intelligence of our children, you know. And we don't know, because we don't understand how intelligent they are. We don't know how, we are not prepared to deal with their intelligence. And when they show that intelligence and they're manipulative, it ends up being manipulative the way they expose their intelligence, because we're not giving them ways to build. I don't know. I was just amazed that a 7-year-old girl was smooth enough to switch the conversation on her mama like that, you know. I would imagine that mom would then, girls, you know, tell her to shut up or something like that, you know. But that same little girl, one day she and her mom were coming home. And yeah, my people, I just overhear everything up in here, you know. It's very instructive to me. It's some people would call it eavesdropping, but if it is eavesdropping, well then I accept that to be what it is. But I'm learning a lot about our children and just how they roll in terms of their intelligence, and how we need to come up to meet their level of intelligence. Because if we don't, the Matrix will and give them all kinds of stuff that they don't need, you know. She asked her mom, and she said, Mom, when you gonna flat iron my hair? 6 years old asking for a flat iron. Maybe I'm old, but to me, that's mind blowing. She wants her hair flat ironed. And she has long, pretty hair too. Her mom usually keeps it in braids. And beautiful dark girl, very gorgeous girl. Her mom is African, Nigerian. And we need to come up so that we can deal with our children, because their intelligence levels are activated young. They're very intelligent. In fact, they're intelligent from birth, from conception, from before conception. We need to, I don't know how to say it. We need to engage our children on the level that they truly are on. You know, we can't hand them video games and expect that that's how to interact with how to engage their intelligence. I'm just tripping right about now because our children are just so much intelligence that's just being misused. It's just being wasted on these things. Now there's another young boy who's very intelligent who lives right next door to me. He's about 13 years old, and his mom and dad are from Nigeria. And one day he and a friend came home, and his friend was egging him on. Go ahead and look in the window. You never know, she might be laying there butt ass naked. That's what he said. I'm like, wow, children are just, go and look in there. She might be waiting on the couch for you. And these are 13-year-old boys, 12 and 13. And they were egging each other on, kind of deal. You could tell it was a competition that who has enough guts to connect. Who's the one who's gonna look? Who's the one that's gonna get at her? And the her that they're talking about is a grown woman. It's not funny. I'm not laughing. I don't know what to say. I'm just paying attention to our children. I'm talking about the children in this one complex that I'm in. You know? So he's already activated, okay? Well, 13 is better than 10, I guess, you know. So there's that thing going back and forth with the boys where they're pushing each other towards it. Well, you must be a punk if you scared. Or you scared to get at her. You know, that kind of deal. And not only that, I think he has a girlfriend, or maybe it's his cousin. I can't even tell if it's his cousin or his girlfriend. I think it's his mother's friend's daughter, so I don't think they're related. I'm thinking they're not related. But she, beautiful dark-skinned girl. One day I saw her with her hair in braids, looking cute, looking like a little girl. Yesterday I looked out my window and saw her, it was Saturday, and it was real hot. It's been hot the last weekend. Looked out my window, saw her. The girl had on some, what do you, cut off shorts? Not booty shorts. They weren't booty shorts. That's what they call them, booty shorts. They were real short shorts, and she had on a sleeveless shirt that she had opened, unbuttoning. Her bosoms were poking out of that thing because she had bosoms. The girl couldn't be no more than 14. And she had on the long weave coming all the way to here. Her braids were gone. She probably talked her mom into giving her a long straight weave, you know. She looked like a grown woman is what I'm trying to say. She was extremely sexy looking. Any man would look twice, 3 and 4 times at her because she was very beautiful, very sexy looking. Her little legs were showing, her little bosom all poked out. Her little bosom was quite big, to be honest. So it's like she's activated and she's on her cell phone, you know, being pretty, posing till closing. So she's doing all this, and all the little kids around her playing. Little girls watching her, you know, probably admiring her. Ooh, I'm gonna look pretty like that when I get older. The boy probably, you know, just a whole lot of sexualization going on amongst young children, okay? Young, 10, 11, 12. year old children. And you know what? I'm probably sounding some kind of way. This is probably the norm now. This is probably the norm, you know. And another incident with a little girl who lives right underneath me. Her mom and her have a nice relationship, but her mom be going through a lot, you know. Her mom is very boisterous and kind of loud and aggressive, and I'm not criticizing, I'm just speaking of what it is. One day I was coming home, and a whole group of little girls were sitting on the stairs where I gotta come up the stairs to get to my house, and they had the stairs blocked off. And I'm looking at these little girls, and I can tell they're all related. They're cousins. They all look alike. From the light skin to the dark skin, they're still all related. And so when they saw me move, one girl, she moved out of my way, no problem. They were very respectful. But then when I passed, one of the little girls jumped in the seat, in the spot. And I guess the other little girl may have wanted to sit there. But then the way she turned on her little cousin, you ain't got to do all of that just to get a spot. It's not that serious, you know. You know. And I looked at her, and I'm looking down the stairs at her, and the older girl became embarrassed, and I'm like, but that didn't deter this little girl, and she can't be no more than 6 or 7. She was about 7 years old. I'm telling you, our children are highly intelligent. It ain't that serious. You ain't have to do all of that. And then, okay, you ain't got to say all of that. Well, you know how I am. How does she say that? You know I get all hyped up, something like that. You know how I am. This is the way I am, and I'm gonna continue to be like this. And when I looked at her, that did not stop her. Her attitude was still. Her children need way more than what we are able to give them. They need something way more to engage that high intelligence. Okay. Now she picking up certain kinds of attitude, kind of. I'm the head boss up in this group. Kind of get down, you know. What am I saying with this video? You know what? I'm just asking a question, you know. And I wrote some notes down because, and there was one more thing that I wanted to mention. I subscribe to Sister Dear Natural 85 on YouTube, and recently, I think her latest video shows, because she just recently had a baby Olivia, who's the most adorable little baby you ever saw in your life, you know. And I've been following that whole get down for a long time, just watching little Olivia grow up, because she posts on YouTube. And she showed a video today where she said, little baby Olivia, there's a song that it is a children's song, and I guess what it is some baby character that dances, you know, and has their own little song. Okay. And so they go on YouTube and they play the song because they want their followers to see how baby Olivia responds the second she hears the song. And they say it's her favorite song ever. The minute they put that song on, and this baby is only 8 months old, okay? The minute they put that song on, little baby Olivia amped up like you ain't never, you know what I'm saying? She got amped, kicking and I'm like, you know what, that is so cute. That's her favorite song. But then, for about 20 minutes after I listened to that song was in my own spirit. I was singing it. Not the song, but the music, you know. And what it was, it's geared towards little babies, you know, something that they have for your little babies to listen to, because the video connected with it was just a little cartoon character baby dancing. But then it occurred to me, what just happened? You know, what was that? Why did little baby Olivia go off like that when she heard that song? What's in that song? What is that song activating? Are they really? Are they real? I mean, you know what? My mind, I'm like, am I being paranoid here? Are they focusing some kind of energy on? I know it seems crazy. Little Olivia is only 9 months old. Okay, if 9 months, you know, she might just be 9 months old. But to see that little baby amp, when the second she heard it, she's just her whole body. She threw her whole spirit into getting amped up and dancing. I'm very distrustful of things that are geared directly towards the children. Okay, and as Sister Marty was talking about with that whole Smurf thing, you know, if they're gonna focus on 6 and 7 and 8 year olds, then maybe they are focusing on babies as well. Okay, and we don't know it. You know, I don't know what kind of whatever that was in that music. You know, but I'm just distrustful. You know, but damn, a baby. Anyway, my people, yeah. How are we supposed to deal with this? You know, the way I'm gonna term it, attack on the spirits of our children. You know, how do we have this conversation? How do we talk about it? Is there anything that we can talk about? Is there anything we can do aside from isolating our children completely? Putting them somewhere where there's absolutely no TV, absolutely no internet, absolutely nothing, you know. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe that's exactly what our children need, to be able to learn how to go into their minds and learn how to play, you know, how to be creative again, you know, how to use that energy to do things other than become connected and focused on the stuff that comes on these cartoons, you know. The things that they show on the cartoon be shocking me, you know. The stuff that they talk about be blowing my mind, you know. The words they use, the way the insinuations, the double entendres, all of this kind of stuff, they activate the children. Now the children are on that level and dealing with their parents on this level. Now it seems like, from what I can see, it's like the parents are at a loss of what to do. You just don't know what to do. What I would have been at a loss myself. What do you do? How do you take your emotions out of it and deal with this kind of thing objectively? I don't know, my people. Tell me what you think. You know, maybe any one of you have dealt with this, know how to deal with it, are dealing with it, are victims of it. How do you deal with the onslaught of hypersexuality that is focused and directed at our youth? And I'm not talking about teenagers. I'm not even talking about preteens. I'm talking about babies. Okay, 8-month-old babies, from 8 months old to all the way up the rest. All right, my people. Anna Renee, your love power guys. Whoo, tripping out right about now with this whole thing about the early activation of our children's sexuality, or just, you know, that higher level of thinking. All right, my people. Blessings and love to you.